Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bears Talk today. And as we have for the past month, Justin, we're starting to talk about a loss. And, it's kind of disappointing. It's very disheartening to know that the Bears, who at one point had a multiple-game winning streak going, now have lost 5 straight. Playoffs, you could forget about it. We're like Jim Moore. Playoffs?
Yeah,
no,
playoffs.
No playoffs. And we lose another heartbreaker. Ironically, partially due to our special teams, which has been disastrous these last few weeks. 27-30 loss against the Vikings. On paper, not a bad loss, given that the Vikings are 5 games above the Bears. This was a home game. This was a game that the Bears, I thought stayed competitive in throughout. Yeah. And, some last-minute heroics from the Bears. Almost got them there. Almost got them there. They gave us hope for a second, and then they took it away as fast as they gave it to us. Yeah. Obviously, we're talking about the last couple of minutes. We score, get the onside kick, which I believe we're one of only 2 onside kick recoveries this year, if I'm not mistaken.
With the new rules in place, too?
Yeah. With the, you can't, surprise onside. No.
Yep.
Caleb gets us down the field. We kick a field goal, which, by the way, was like this close to getting blocked. So we almost got blocked again for losing. But win the coin toss, go into overtime. Caleb takes the sack. Vikings just drive down the field. What were some of the key takeaways from this game from your perspective, Justin?
I mean, overall, I want to say, Caleb did good, but I'm sorry, 32 or 47. I mean, I feel like for me, I love that Caleb is trying his best to, carry the team, but it should not take 47 attempts unless it was what was it, the Rams Chiefs game a couple years ago when it was a crazy scoring game. So overall, I think for this one, Caleb did great. I think definitely the 47 pass attempts were a little much for me. No interceptions, 2 touchdowns, but I think the one thing that I do appreciate is that they did, continue to try at the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, they could have easily stopped and been like, you know what, we're just going to chill out and take the L. But, I mean, to even be able to, with no timeouts left, being able to move down the field efficiently, that gives me a glimmer of hope to be like, you know what, we can actually try to win games if we're a touchdown or 2 touchdowns away from it. So it's definitely there. But there were also some key drops as well. Cole Kmet. Yeah, that was a rough drop.
That was rough.
That was a rough drop, and
Keenan had a couple of drops earlier in the game as well.
Yeah,
I agree with you about Caleb, and I've been on record saying this, that Caleb is the most important part of this year.
Yes,
and I will point out that in 3 games in a row, the Vikings game, the Packers game, and the Commanders game, the Bears were down in the fourth quarter, and Caleb got us in position to win.
Yeah, he did.
Blocked kick against the Packers.
Yep.
Hail Mary. The Commanders got a Hail Mary against us. And then, he actually got us into overtime against the Vikings. So I will say, seeing him be so nails late in games and in the fourth quarter is very, very encouraging for me.
Yeah.
He played, I thought, a really good game. We talked about how difficult Brian Flores was against quarterbacks. 2 touchdowns, 340 yards. I agree with you. You make a great point, I think. 47 passing attempts. Well, why did Caleb throw the ball so many times? It's because DeAndre Swift averaged 2.3 yards per carry.
Yes.
They could not run the ball. And so when you're in a position where, you have to throw the ball, Caleb is going to have to throw, this many times, you're probably not going to win because you're not a balanced offense. And, again, I think that speaks to the weakness of our offensive line. Speaking of rushing, though, Caleb, again this week, used his legs.
Yeah.
So he ran for another 33 yards. So if you think about it, Caleb had 370 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers against one of the best defenses in the NFL. To me, that is very encouraging.
Very much so.
But like we said, the rushing game was non-existent. I do like the distribution of the passing offense. DJ Moore, 100 yards, has to be one of the only times he's done that this year.
Yeah.
Had a touchdown. Keenan Allen got more involved as the game was going on. I saw Rome trying to get involved, 5 catches, 39 yards. But yeah, when you can't run the ball, you become just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But I think the key for this loss, though, was our defense.
Yeah.
Defense really let us down. And it's kind of one of those seasons where if it's not this, it's that, right? The defense was not very good. Now you look and you're like, oh, Justin Jefferson. You talked last week that one of the keys was stopping Justin Jefferson. Yeah. If I had told you that Justin Jefferson had 27 yards, we'd take that all day of the week.
Yeah.
Problem was, Jordan Addison had 162. T.J. Hawkinson had 114.
Yep.
Aaron Jones ran for 106.
Right.
So by stopping Justin Jefferson, it opened up everybody. It opened up everybody else. So it was just disappointing on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, our third down defense, that was the most points they surrendered so far this season. And I think definitely, when you are wanting to gain momentum for your offense to come back on the field and to be able to dominate, you have to be able to stop the third downs, especially when it's a run play or let's say if it's like a 10-yard pass, something that can like demolish the confidence of your defense. Yeah. And it just kind of stinks. It kind of blows because I feel like definitely if we were able to complete those third downs and make those stops, I think we would have won the game.
Well, and it's crazy too because there were so many like 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 11s. I mean, Nick Mullins came in for one play. It was 3rd and 14.
Crazy.
And he dumps it off to Aaron Jones for a first down. Like, I don't know why they were playing so soft. I don't know why the defense was playing so back and so conservative. That's the type of defense they should have played on the Hail Mary, Justin.
Yeah, right.
So
you mentioned
Matt Eberflus is not coaching these guys to the best of their ability right now. He's playing so off. In overtime, I mean, Sam Darnold was just marching down the field because guy was open. They had 10 yards of space. They were giving off cushion. Like, I just don't understand it. And, again, we've talked about it in Matt Eberflus. I think it's pretty set in stone at this point that Matt Eberflus will not survive into next year.
No, definitely not.
I don't think there's a chance the Bears make the playoffs.
No.
Even the funny thing is, even if you win out, even if you go 10-7, which would be insane.
It would be.
But even if you go 10-7, does that even get you in the playoffs in the NFC? Because the NFC is really good this year. So I don't know. It would be very interesting to see how that happens. There have been reports. The reliability is, I guess, suspicious, but there are reports that if the Bears go out and embarrass themselves on Thursday, Matt Eberflus might not make it, to December, which I think would be interesting. The Bears have never fired a head coach in their 100-year history mid-season. So it'd be very interesting. But, yeah, Vikings, they lose to the Bears. And honestly, like, it's sad to say, Justin, especially this early in the year, but every loss for the Bears I think is a good thing. And again, that's people will say, oh, that's a loser mentality. Oh, it is. It 100% is. But this is a loser franchise.
Yeah, it is.
And when you are in a position with the Bears where, I question their ability to make the right decisions, let's make it easier for them. Let's lose more games so Matt Eberflus has a higher likelihood of being fired. Let's lose more games so that we have better draft picks, so that some of the elite players can follow us in the draft, offensive linemen. And I don't know. This is not the Bears' year. No. This is not their year. And, again, I'm encouraged because Caleb looks good, and I think that is the most important thing for this year. If it's between Caleb and Eberflus, I'm taking Caleb every day of the week, twice on Sundays. Yeah. But, I think we're in a point where we have to kind of reassess some things. We need to accumulate more resources and hit the ground running in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think definitely before you win, you have to lose or you have to go through a struggle. Yeah. And I think this team is almost there, but I think definitely adding some key draft pieces, offensive linemen, hopefully, fingers crossed, and a better coach can take us really, really far. Not fall. It's not fall. It's winter, Justin. Really, really far.
It's technically still fall.
I mean, but this morning, it felt like winter.
Yeah.
It really did.
Well, sorry, no, go finish your thought.
No, you're good. I just... Like I said, I think we're almost there, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I really want to give credit to Thomas Brown. The offense wasn't stagnant for the second game. I mean, it seemed like every time Minnesota had a punch, we punch right back. And that's the thing, and that's like the positive thing that I want to hopefully continue to see from Thomas Brown. I definitely think there were some plays where I'm like, I don't know if we should do. Yeah. But it looked a lot better from the Shane Waldron abuse that we've been having for the past.
That's a great word.
Yeah, it has been abuse, dude. It's been, I mean, just watching it has been just god awful. So I'm glad.
And again, the continued development of Caleb Williams, the involvement of DJ Moore. This is back-to-back games where DJ Moore was a prominent member of our game plan, which seems so simplistic, yet Shane Waldron failed to comprehend that. Yeah. So I think I do agree. I think Thomas Brown has been doing a good job so far. And, this Bears team, you're right. I don't think we're that far.
No,
I think we are a couple offensive linemen, a new coach, and a few other players away from being a good team, legitimately a good team.
I agree.
Because the most important thing is I believe strongly, I believed it before the year, 12 weeks in, I believe it even more, we have our quarterback.
We do.
And that is something the Bears have never had. They've had good coaches, they've had great defenses, they've had good receivers and running backs. They've never had a good quarterback. And I think we finally have that. And that is the most important step in the NFL today.
Definitely. And before you continue, we got our comment in the live stream. Matt Kamer said, when are the Bears going to use Rome Odunze?
See, that's something where I kind of thought that they tried to use him a little bit more. I saw that they were a little bit out of rhythm.
They were. And I thought that DJ Moore touched. I mean, like, I was halfway a fan until I saw how bad it was over.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, maybe we shouldn't have tried that. I get what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree he should be, with – I mean, I hope they use him more. He's a good player.
I would say this, though, like when it comes to Rome, they definitely need to use him more for sure. But DJ Moore's the best wide receiver on the team.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get the ball – if you're going to scheme one guy open, if you're gonna, ideally you could scheme multiple guys open, but – we're coming from Shane Waldron, so beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
If you're going to scheme one guy open, it's going to be DJ Moore. He's the best receiver on this team.
Yeah.
Additionally, I think maybe the Bears are kind of following the Seahawks philosophy of superstar receiver, DJ Moore. You have a veteran receiver, Tyler Lockett, Keenan Allen, and then you have the first-round rookie in Rome and JSN.
Yeah.
JSN last year, was behind Tyler Lockett in the depth chart.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this year they're kind of flip-flopping, right? JSN has become the Seahawks arguably their go-to option, where I think, last year he was the third option behind Tyler Lockett and DK.
Yeah.
I think the similar thing is going to happen to Rome next year, where he's going to kind of take away some of those snaps from Keenan. And I know Keenan might not be on the Bears next year. I'm not saying that he will, but I do think even if Keenan's there or if Rome will be there, I think he will kind of take some of those wide receiver 2 reps, maybe get more work in the slot, everything like that. So
definitely.
I do think they need to get Rome the ball more, but I mean, let's look at some of the other rookie receivers like Marvin Harrison. He's at like 500 yards right now. Like he's keeping pace with like Marvin Harrison.
Definitely.
Malik Neighbors is a little ahead of him, so I'm not worried about Rome, but I would like to see him a little bit more involved for sure. He's a different body type than DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So I think he's more of your X receiver.
Definitely.
But no, I agree. I would like to see Roman involved as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of our questions, Justin. Question number 1. Was this Caleb's best game, and how is his progression going under Thomas Brown?
I would say so far, yes. I mean, do I like 47 pass attempts? No, unless it was like we were neck and neck and, he just had to go out there and dominate. But we had no run game, so he had to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Overall, I think each game we go through this season, Caleb just gets more and more confident.
Yes.
And I think it showed in the Packers game when they went for it on the 4th down, like, no, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to deliver. And we saw the same thing in the 4th quarter on Sunday.
Yeah.
That
throw he had to DJ.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Over the linebacker.
Yep.
Perfectly. Yeah, I call it like a 2-ball. It's like right over the linebacker, but perfectly drops in.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, like, I think so far this is his best game, and I'm saying that only looking at the schedule ahead. And yes, we're going against Detroit on Thursday. Then we have a beat-up 49ers team that, I feel like we may not even be able to really touch because they still have good players on their team.
Yeah, 49ers are still good, unfortunately.
And what is it, Minnesota again, right?
Yeah, we got Green Bay, Minnesota again, 2 Detroits, San Francisco, and Seattle.
Yeah, this will be his best game. This will be his best game.
It might be.
Isn't one of those games at home though?
Seattle's at home.
Okay.
We have another game. One of the Detroit games is at home. So we have Seattle and Detroit at home. Green Bay's in Green Bay. Minnesota's in Minnesota. San Fran is in San Fran.
Yeah. So Seattle might be the next game where he might play well. He seems to play really well at home, but I don't know. I know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe.
Good.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I agree with you. Like, maybe, just a strong maybe. But yeah, I think this will be his best game of the season. I think from now on, it's like welcome to the gauntlet, and you just gotta hope that he can, overcome adversity at this rate.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I think we've been saying this with a lot of the rookie quarterbacks. Jayden Daniels is a good example of this. Progress is not linear. right? So you don't go here and then you just keep getting better every week. There's ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And I thought, first couple of weeks of the year, he was down a little bit. Then he was up with the Jaguars and Panthers and Rams game. Then he kind of fell back down to earth in the Commanders game and everything. Since the Packers game, so since we fired Shane Waldron, he's been on that upward trajectory again.
Definitely.
And I think, obviously you're not going to just go one direction.
No,
so I do expect him to go back to earth a little bit, but I do expect him to bounce back as well. And I think that the key for him is just to become more confident in his ability to play quarterback.
Yeah.
Going through his reads, trusting his receivers. I think what is undisputable is his arm talent, his accuracy in the short and intermediate area. He's still, I think, learning the timing of those deep patterns.
Yeah.
But some of his throws across the middle, I mean, that's something that Justin Fields always struggled to do.
Right.
He wasn't able to attack the middle.
Yeah.
And when you talk to some of the best coaches in the NFL, the Shanahans, the McVays, the Andy Reids, they attack the middle of the field all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Right? So I think that's very encouraging for Caleb. Again, you want to see him hit more of the home run balls that he hasn't done necessarily. But I can't say that I'm upset with the way he's been playing. I think that he's been playing really good, especially now that he's using his legs.
Yes.
And he is a rookie. He's making rookie mistakes. The sack he took in overtime, that was his fault.
Yeah.
You can't dance around for 10 seconds.
No.
Brother, that's Jonathan Grenard. You're not going to just ballerina your way away from Jonathan Grenard. So
no, you're not.
That's one of those things where, he has to learn better. He has to learn to throw the ball away a little bit. Can't play hero ball all the time.
No, not at all.
But his raw ability, I think he's learning how to play quarterback at the NFL level. And I think that that's such a positive step in his development.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I do think that this was his best game so far. We talked about Brian Flores, how much of a defensive guru he is, what he does to young quarterbacks with the simulated pressures and the disguised coverages and everything like that. And I mean, you saw Caleb put that ball into some of those really tight windows. I like the one that he threw to, I believe it was Keenan Allen on the right sideline. Andrew Van Ginkel, was kind of diving at it, and he missed it by like an inch or two. And Caleb just fired it in there. Like, it was great. It's great to see a Bears quarterback make throws like that. So
103.1 passer rating too.
I'll take 103 passer rating. Like that is a very good day at the office. And especially for this Bears team whose defense has been good, for a while now. Scoring 27 points is going to win you a lot of games.
Yeah, it will.
It's going to win you a lot of games. So obviously disappointing day from the defense.
Yeah.
But I don't think Caleb is to blame for this loss much at all. All right, and then I think for our last question, I'm going to change the wording of it a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
I like what we said. So why do we keep losing games, I guess, is the question. But I guess the core to this would be, how do the Bears start winning games? Like, what's the problem, and then how do we fix the problem?
And it's funny because, like, we find a new way to lose every single time.
Yes, we do.
And so, like, one game, it could be the defense. The offense is struggling. This game, it was special teams.
Oh, special teams as well? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, for example, in the second half, was it a kick return and then the Vikings
punt return that hit Hardy?
And then the Vikings recovered it. I really thought it was over after that because I'm like, how do you
just gave them the ball?
You just gave them the ball, right back. So honestly, you just gotta. I don't even know. Like that's I feel like it's a mixture of everything, but overall, it's confidence, right? I think definitely when you have had pivotal losses, Hail Mary, block field goal. Overtime loss. It just does something to you. Yeah. And it's not like, this is just one game. This is like the third or fourth game in a row where this has happened. So of course, if you're a team coming in, like, yes, your mindset is to go out there and win every single time. But in the back of your mind, like I sat there and I watched overtime, like.
Yeah, I felt the same way because the game was. And this is how I know that the Bears have a structural problem, is because late in that game, I was sitting there and I was like, Bears are not going to win this game.
Yeah, I wasn't confident in them at all.
And then Caleb, to his credit, play after play after play after play, they got the onside, which was incredible. And I was just, even when we won the toss in overtime, I was sitting there and I was like, we're not going to win this game.
Yeah, I just wasn't confident. Like, until the clock said 0-0 and, the final pulled up on the scoreboard ticker, I didn't feel like, man, they're really going to sit up here and go from start to finish.
And that's what separates the good teams from the bad teams. Because if this was the Chiefs playing the Vikings late in the game, everybody and their mom would say, Patrick Mahomes is going to win this game.
Yeah, because he's proven that before.
Exactly. Josh Allen going to win this game. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the
Geno
Chiefs
Smith,
almost
just
lost to the
kidding.
Panthers, right? I mean, the Chiefs almost lost to the Panthers, and nobody had a doubt in their mind that the Chiefs wouldn't win.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody's thought was, oh, wow, Bryce Young's playing pretty good.
Yeah,
He's keeping
right?
it close.
He's keeping
but
it close.
The Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, but the Chiefs are going to win. And what did
Exactly.
you say? Never bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Never bet against Patrick Mahomes. No.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, that's the thing. And it's funny because earlier in the year, special teams, I mean, they won us the first game against Tennessee with the blocked punt field goal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, blocked punt touchdown. Turns out maybe Tennessee's got the worst special teams unit ever.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Ooh, I do not envy Brian Callahan right now. But no, you're right. Confidence, and I think that stems from coaching as well. Like, it's the same problem. It's the same thing with Matt Eberflus.
Yep.
Richard Hightower, the special teams coordinator. I mean, almost 3 times. We saw it twice in a row, last week against Green Bay, then the start of the game against the Vikings. The field goal was blocked from the same spot on the defensive line, same position.
Yeah.
And going and kicking the game winner to go into overtime, it almost happened again.
Crazy.
That field goal was a little bit longer, and he had to get a little bit lower trajectory. That probably would have been blocked, and we probably would have had 3 blocks in 2 games.
Yep.
Both would have lost us the game. So it's quite disgusting. All right, Justin, let's get into the fun part.
Oh, boy.
Thursday is Thanksgiving, and there's a lot to be grateful for on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Spend time with your family.
Yeah.
Eat some good food. One of the things to be grateful for, however, is not Chicago Bears football.
No,
They
not
play.
at all.
They play the early game on Thanksgiving. They play against the Detroit Lions, and oh my God! For context, Justin, Vegas has the spread set at 10 for the Lions. So they're expecting us to lose by double digits, excuse me. And not only is this game in Detroit, not only is it on a short week, not only are the Lions 10-1 and honestly look like the best team in all of football, but the Chicago Bears are now nursing a 5-game losing streak. How the heck, I almost got in trouble there, how the heck will the Bears be able to win this game? Can they win this game?
Sure. What you have to do is give Jared Goff food poisoning. Give Montgomery, Gibbs, give all their best players food poisoning at once, and just hope that they don't show up. To Ford Field. Like that's literally what you have to do. But in all seriousness, I have no clue. Like I don't. Like we would have to be so perfect.
Yeah.
And at least jump them, like, get a touchdown or 2 in the beginning and hold them. But even then, like our team, like we haven't done that against a good team all season. So it's just I'm just hoping it's not like the Jacksonville game where it was like 52-6. I'm just hoping it's not. But there could be a fair chance it might be, because with one thing about it is, yes, we have veteran, players on our team, but when you're a rookie quarterback, first round pick, and you go into a hostile environment, it's going to be hard.
Detroit is going to be rocking.
Detroit's going to be rocking. They're already 10-1. I mean, Super Bowl or bust is what they're looking for. So they're looking to continue their momentum to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. So it's just, and they have the Eagles right behind their back, right?
Yeah.
So
the Eagles aren't far behind them.
They're not far behind. So I don't know how I mean, their offense and defense are in the top 10 in the NFL. Like,
Now you want to talk about coaching?
Yeah.
We don't got it.
They
do got it.
They do got it.
I think they have 2 coordinators right now. They're going to be head coaches come January. I think Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are both going to take coaching jobs. Dan Campbell has changed the whole culture. No, I agree with you. This is one of those games where you would require God's divine intervention in order for the Bears to win. Like, obviously he can do whatever he wants, but without him, there's no shot that the Bears were going to win this game. And you look at it from a perspective of, all right, well, the Lions' offense, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, their offensive line is tremendous.
Yes.
Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Jared Goff is a good quarterback partially because he has so much time to throw the ball every play.
Yeah.
He's got a great running game. He's got a good play caller. I mean, no disrespect to Jared Goff. There'd be a lot of quarterbacks that thrive in that situation.
Yeah.
And he's playing playing very well. Their defense.
But I also want to say, though, like, people forget he went to Super Bowl. Yeah, was it against Tom Brady and they lost? Yes, but still, like, he's pretty darn good.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback.
No, I know you weren't. Yeah,
I'm saying that he's, I mean, if as a quarterback you could handpick
where you want to go and kind of what you.
I'd want to play in a dome. I'd want to have a good offensive line. I want to have a great receiver. I'd want to have a good running game, and I'd want to have a good play caller. He's got
all of them.
Hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Hit the jackpot.
Yep.
And that's, again, that's no disrespect to him.
No, not at all.
But he's got it made. So offensively, they're really good. Defensively, they're playing lights out. Brian Branch looks like one of the best defenders in the NFL right now. And again, they're riding high. They are really, really good team. They have their sights on the Super Bowl. Absolutely correct. And the other problem for the Bears is that they are not one of those teams. And we've seen teams in the past who kind of played down to their competition. Yeah. Not the Lions.
No.
They steamrolled the Jaguars. They steamrolled the Titans. I mean, any bad team in their path, they just squish like a bug.
Yeah.
And the Bears. Do we have a good win this year? Well, we beat the Jaguars, who are terrible. We beat the Panthers, who are terrible. We beat the Titans, who are terrible. We beat the Rams. That's the best win of the year. They're like a 500 team, but as of right now, they have more losses than wins.
They do.
And that was without Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
So the Bears have not beaten a good team this year.
No.
The Lions certainly have not lost to a bad team this year.
No.
It becomes one of those situations where you need to, I guess, rely on the fact that this is a divisional game.
Yeah.
And, we saw it with the Browns actually twice this year. The Steelers and the Ravens. They beat both those teams. And you're kind of thinking, how did the Browns beat those teams? Well, the Browns are a physical team. It's a divisional game.
Yep.
And I think you really need to pray that this Bears kind of just maybe have the Lions number. Jared Goff has not played his best against the Bears. But this game is going to be in a dome, so the weather's not going to be a factor.
Not at all.
To me, it's very interesting from a schematic, and I'll talk maybe about the schematics a little bit. But on the surface, I mean, this is not looking good for our Chicago Bears.
No, just to give you context of how dominant the Lions are, their last loss was in September.
Yeah, and it was a close loss. I remember it was against the Buccaneers, where they just
2016.
They just couldn't convert in the red zone. I think that was their one thing where they had like a 4th and goal, I think, that they missed and whatever. So realistically, the Buccaneers kind of got lucky. And the Buccaneers, I mean, they're a solid team as well. So
they also had 4 games this season where they won by 40 points or more. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I think they also had. I think I saw a stat, and this is one of the most ridiculous stats I've ever seen. I think they had a stat where in 3 games or 4 games, I'm not sure the number, I believe it was 4, where they scored more touchdowns than Jared Goff had incompletions.
That's insane.
That is nuts.
That is nuts.
One of those games was, if you remember, the Monday night game against Seattle, where he went like 18 of 18, 2 touchdowns, caught a touchdown because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
It was ridiculous. This Lions offense is like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
They are incredible.
Very much.
And there are not many, breaks in the armor.
No.
There's not a hole on this Lions offense that we could exploit because their offensive line is great. Jared Goff's been playing good. Receivers are good. Maybe you could say that their receiving core is a little weak outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. However, Jameson Williams is super fast.
Yeah.
So he can, break the game with his speed. It's very, very difficult. But I don't even know how to phrase this because it's so impossible to think about. Schematically, personnel-wise, game plan-wise, what could be the key to victory for the Bears on Thursday? It's a good question. It is a very good question.
I think like I said before, we have to make no mistakes, no errors. Do not let them get an interception. Do not let them get multiple sacks in a row because any error will feed the fans and it'll feed the defense.
Yep.
So you got to make sure that you are on point. You're getting your completions. The run game has to actually be effective. Caleb was not going to go into Detroit and throw for 50 passes.
I don't think he could do that.
I don't think he can do that and win the game.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like they were just down and Caleb just was trying to give it his all, but. Yeah, they just have to be perfect. No mistakes at all.
I think if we had a time machine, if you had watched the game and you went back and told me how many pass attempts Caleb Williams has, I could tell you if they won or lost the game. If you told me Caleb Williams threw the ball 50 times, I said, oh my gosh, we got spanked.
Yeah.
If you said he threw it 20, 25 times, I'd say, okay, it was a close game. Because I think you're right. I think if the Bears are able to run the ball, not only will that keep the Lions' offense off the field, but it'll take less pressure off of him. And he is, at the end of the day, he is a rookie. You know, so I think that's 100% the case. And you mentioned turnovers. Absolutely cannot turn the ball over.
No.
You turn the ball over,
you're
that
done.
game flips.
Yeah.
You know, the Lions, you're right. Detroit's going to be rocking. The Lions, you know, fan base is crazy.
We also got to stop the run game, too. Like, like
there's so many things for us to do.
Yeah.
And the problem is I initially was going to say the key to this game is our defense needs to get turnovers. The problem with that, though, is that the Texans got 5 interceptions off of Jared Goff and still lost.
Yeah. Crazy.
So there's really no, like, I guess they could just commit unlimited turnovers, and it doesn't matter because they're so good. So you're right. Offensively, limit the turnovers on the ball. Defensively, oh, baby, you have to stop David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, contain them, and then you have to get a pass rush and harass Jared Goff.
Yeah.
That is a tall task. And you better
Very
cover
much
Amon-Ra
so.
St. Brown. It's it's rough.
I don't know how you do that.
It is rough.
Yeah.
I think I wonder if Jalen Johnson is going to be manned up on Amon-Ra St. Brown because normally he's a boundary corner. So I wonder if Eberflus will change the scheme for this defense to have maybe Jalen Johnson playing in the slot, and then maybe you put Kyler Gordon as a slot as a boundary corner.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see. So there's a lot of obstacles for the Bears on this slate. And, looking ahead, we'll just talk really quick before we get into our final thoughts on the game. I looked up the Lions. I don't know why I did that. The Bears play the Lions this week, right? And then you got some more tough games. You got San Francisco coming up. And like we said, in San Francisco, that'll be brutal. We do get that mini bye because, it's on the Thursday, and then we don't play till the following Sunday. Then Vikings again. Then Lions again. Then we get the Bears. Then we get the Seahawks on December 26th, day after Christmas, and then Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, I think that it's mock draft season, I think.
Yeah, it really is at this point.
Time for some mock drafts because San Francisco, they are the worst they've been in several years, and I still have no confidence that the Bears will beat them.
I don't.
Seattle is currently in first place in the NFC West. Their defense has looked much better the last couple of weeks, and their offense, they've got good players. The only benefit for the Bears would be against Detroit and Seattle, it's in Chicago. And Detroit is a dome team who doesn't play a lot outside. But they just beat the Packers in Lambeau a couple weeks ago. So, maybe that doesn't even work.
No.
And then Seattle, again, a West Coast team coming over to Chicago. You can hope maybe that the weather in weather in Chicago is dangerous enough for the Seahawks to falter, but honestly, I don't know if we win another game this year.
I don't, and you know what? I was hoping once we win in overtime on Sunday, I can go on the show the next day and prove I was wrong.
Yeah,
but I was right. And now honestly, that was the only freebie game we probably had that was left.
That was the most winnable game.
That was the most winnable game out of all the games.
Yep.
And now we're not going to win another game this season. I'm going to stand on that.
Yeah. Which is so sad because
very much so.
If you would have told me that the Bears, after the Jaguars game, if you would have said the Bears were not going to win another game the rest of the year, I would have been like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, I get we had the tough schedule coming up.
I would have thought Caleb would have got hurt.
We couldn't beat Arizona or New England.
Nope.
We couldn't beat, any. It's quite sad. It is quite sad. So 4-13, honestly, probably gets you a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Which not mad at.
And, we do have the second-round pick from the Panthers still.
Yep.
So we'll have probably 3 top 40 picks in the draft.
Oof, okay.
And, you're looking at that and you're saying, all right, well, they have some resources to retool. Eberflus, get him out of here.
Pack your bags, buddy.
Get him on the first flight out of O'Hare. Poles can stay.
I'll give him one more year.
He got one more year.
Yeah.
If the Bears suck next year, he's gone too.
Oh, for sure.
I think. All right. Let's wrap up the show before I get way too upset talking about the Bears. Lions, Bears in Detroit, Thanksgiving morning. Before you kind of, indulge in your turkey and stuffing, mac and cheese, and all your good Thanksgiving dishes. Are you a green bean casserole type of guy?
I am. I do like green bean
casserole
guy.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad. Rolls. Golly, I'm going to gain so much weight. I'm going to need a body double for next episode. And yes, by the way, Speaking of next episode, we will be giving you guys a episode on Black Friday, day after the game, like we always try to do. Mm-hmm. It'll be at home, though. We will not be in the studio on Friday, so it'll be a little different of a setup. But hopefully, we get to talk about a victorious Bears game. That won't happen.
I thought you meant like a victorious dinner, like you had a good time with your
family.
Yeah,
that might be the bulk of our conversation. Is just
what we ate and how we spent time with our family.
Yeah.
Crooked Commish on our chat said, "What's good, y'all? The mistake was made by not firing Eberflus last year," and I agree.
First of all, Eberflus is amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
I've never heard that before. That's awesome.
Me neither.
Second of all, I can stand 10 toes down on the fact that I thought Eberflus should have been fired last year.
Yeah.
I completely agree with this comment. Not only did I want Eberflus to be fired, but I said the Bears should pursue heavily Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
How's that looking? Chargers have doubled their wins and we're in week 13.
Crazy.
And it's funny because we talked about it, throughout the year. Mm-hmm. It's the same insanity process. My mom always tells me if you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result, you're insane. It's the definition of insanity.
Oh, yeah.
What do the Bears do? They draft a rookie quarterback in the first round. Then the next year fire their head coach. Mm-hmm. Then a couple years later, they draft a new quarterback, fire that coach the next year.
Yep.
I mean, this has happened with John Fox. Mm-hmm. Drafted Mitch, fired John Fox.
Yep.
Then we had Matt Nagy. We drafted Justin Fields. Then we fired Matt Nagy. Mm-hmm. Then we drafted Caleb Williams. Then we're going to fire Matt Eberflus. It is an insane cycle. And again, you already did this to Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. He was the lame duck coach all year.
Yep.
Please, for the love of God, hire a competent head coach.
And have him stay and be consistent.
And have him stay for the career of Caleb Williams. I don't want to be drafting a new quarterback in 2027.
That'd be, all right,
I'm so sick of this. Mm-hmm. Each quarterback I've been more excited about and more excited about. Caleb is the guy.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the first overall pick maybe for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
So, some teams have never had the first overall pick.
In there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Bears were lucky enough, by some miracle, to get it twice in a row due to the trade that they made with the Panthers. But you're not going to bank on getting the number one overall pick ever again.
No.
Ever again.
No.
And Caleb is considered by a lot of people in the pre-draft process to be a very, very good number one overall pick. There's some years where the number one overall pick is, whatever. The quarterback class, like this year coming up, the quarterback class isn't great. Yeah. People kind of generally agreed upon the fact that Caleb Williams is a really, really good number one overall pick. Mm-hmm. And, you're not going to get a guy like that ever again. You can get lucky maybe later in the first round, but you're not going to get a chance to draft another Caleb Williams for a long, long time. So please.
For sure.
Please.
Yeah, please. So we thank you guys for watching. We have had over 10 plus viewers this whole time. We appreciate all of you guys. I want to read a couple more comments here. Cricket Commish, what has been the biggest disappointment this year for you guys? For me, it's our D taking a step back.
The defense has been disappointing the last couple of weeks. I thought in the first half of the year, I did think that they were up to the standard that I thought. I think the biggest disappointing thing about this year so far, it's easy to say the coaching staff, but I'll say the negligence of the offensive line. Yeah. The negligence of the offensive line to me has been so eye-opening, not only because you would think with a rookie quarterback, you would want to protect him as much. Yeah. But our GM is a former offensive lineman. Yeah. He played offensive lineman in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Maybe didn't have the longest career, but he was, an offensive lineman. So you would think of all people, he would know to prioritize the offensive line.
You would think so.
And to me, it's just so mind-blowing that they didn't trade for an O-lineman. Mm-hmm. They traded a 6 for a backup center. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. They didn't make a substantial free agent move for an offensive lineman. Nope. They didn't use premium draft capital on an offensive lineman. Again, I love Rome, but looking back, they maybe should have drafted Fuaga or one of these other tackles. Yeah. The negligence of the offensive line, I think, has deterred the whole year because for the majority of games, you can't run the ball. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams out there has been getting killed. Yeah. So to me, that's the most disappointing part, and it's one of those things where ever since kind of the mid-2000s when we had Roberto Garza back there and a lot of those guys, the offensive line has been trash. Yeah. Trash.
Very much so.
So that to me has been the most disappointing. What about you, Justin?
I mean, I agree. Offensive line is one of the key factors in order for you to actually score touchdowns and be able to complete run plays and stuff of that nature. So I definitely think coming from an offensive lineman who is your GM and to be negligent about that is just insane. I just don't I would say between that and then our our head coach decision making. Like it's just sad. Like I literally saw a clip yesterday of I believe it was Mark Trestman at the top, Matt Nagy, and then Matty Eberflus, and they all had, I think it was each interview was like a post-game interview from a close game, and they eerily said the same exact thing. And it's just weird. Like these three people have never been in contact with each other, and it seems like we're continually making the same mistakes over and over.
Did you hear what he said about the Jordan Addison play that happened?
Yes.
And they asked him why he challenged it, and he said because it was an explosive play.
Huh?
What?
Okay.
You can't just challenge a play because they got an explosive play. Like I wish he would have said, "Oh, from our view, it looked like he stepped out of bounds." That would have been just a more intelligent thing to say.
Yeah,
it was a bad challenge to begin with, but it would have been more intelligent reasoning. Well, it was an explosive play. What do you?
No.
It's just.
Oh my God.
It's comments like that.
Yeah.
And it was also the comments after the Commanders game where he said, "We don't regret the way we played that," and you know, they could have had the play before to get him in position to throw the Hail Mary. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you like? You're just making a fool of yourself.
No.
And unfortunately, he's been doing that all year.
Yeah.
All right, more comments from the chat. Oh, by the way, shout out Matt. Matt, I didn't see your comment from before. That's my guy. Lions fan here. We haven't played with the Bears well in the MCDC era. That's funny.
I mean, he's not lying. He's not wrong. He is not wrong about
Hey, we're
this
pretty
at all.
banged up on a short week. Like the show. Thank you. So we appreciate you.
No,
appreciate the
you,
support. Yes, a little banged up. Bears, I guess they're pretty healthy right now. I can't.
There's not like a major.
Brisker's probably still out, but he's been out. I think he's got one of those concussions where you call it like a phantom concussion, where it just kind of doesn't get better, unfortunately. And so we're hoping that he's good to go. But you're a little banged up, and the Lions play a physical brand of football.
They do.
They run the ball a lot. Their offensive line, like I said, they get after it. Their D line is great. Even if they're banged up, even if we're playing the Lions at, let's say, 75%, I still don't have a lot of faith in this Bears team to be able to execute well. I mean, as a Lions fan, like I would as a Lions fan, I understand being cautious because I never like getting too overconfident or too like we're definitely beating this team, whatever.
No,
because you're right. Any given Sunday, or in this case, any given Thursday, things can happen. But I would say the meter is about as high as it could get in terms of confidence. In terms of you have a coaching advantage, you have an advantage at the line of scrimmage. You're the home team. You have the momentum of the year. You've won, 10 games of your first 11. All of those things considered, the Lions are going to win this game. And I know you know that. I'm just saying, like, I get the caution, but I think you can celebrate this one a little prematurely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Brian. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and hopefully Friday we're not too beat up. Cricket Commish, if you always do what you always done, you'll get what you always got.
Somebody should send that to George McCaskey.
Please do.
Now. Can you email? Can you CC him on that email?
CC him. Yes, please.
Teams message him because you're right. The Bears, they do the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the other thing that they don't do, which drives me up the wall, and this is I'm petrified that they're going to do it again this year. They always cheap out on a head coach.
Yep.
Like I dreamed of Jim Harbaugh last offseason. But I knew in the back of my head, they're not going to pay for Jim Harbaugh.
They're not.
Ben Johnson is a candidate this year. I don't think they'll pay for Ben Johnson.
No.
Bill Belichick, like whoever is going to be a hot coaching commodity.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Bears will fork up the money to go because the ownership is cheap. And I think that they don't care enough about winning to spend money out of their own pockets.
No, not at all.
They like the Bears being, okay. The Soldier Field is still packed. Bears fans are awesome. They're going to buy all the merchandise. They're going to buy tickets. The Bears fans will be there no matter what. And so from a business perspective, why would you go out and give a coach $100 million, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree. I mean, it's sad. And I'm very, very worried that come January, the Bears will hire some scrub that's going to waste away another 3 years. Caleb's going to be ruined, or maybe we'll never reach his full potential, and we're just going to repeat the cycle again in 2027. So,
man.
Another comment. Dunze is a dog and has star power written all over him, but they should have gone with an offensive lineman. I agree. I do agree. Sometimes you have to take need over player.
Yeah.
I assume that Rome was higher on their draft board than some of those other guys, but sometimes you have to prioritize your need. And the Bears were fine at receiver. They already had Keenan Allen. DJ Moore was there. And so, listen, you need help in the offensive line.
You do.
I mean, I mentioned the story a couple weeks ago of the Lions and Bengals in the 2021 draft. Jamar Chase is a phenomenal receiver, like spectacular, all-world level talent. Do you think the Lions regret getting Penei Sewell?
No, not at all. They are very happy right now.
They are very, and that's an extreme example of two all-pro caliber players.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get my point. Like, which team is better right now? It's the Lions.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure the Bengals don't regret taking Jamar Chase and vice versa, but just goes to show that a good lineman. I mean, Jim Harbaugh this year with the Chargers, they had a top pick in the draft. Everybody was Malik Neighbors, trade up from Martin Harrison. He said, no, we're taking Joe Alt, a tackle from Notre Dame. And
look at him now.
Their running game has been great. Justin Herbert is, not getting sacked like he used to, and he's playing great football. So it's just it's the philosophy of everything. The Bears' philosophy is just all messed up. It's all warped.
Yeah. And
no, I'm very worried that they're going to blunder their coaching hire come January. So all right, before we head out of here, we got to do score predictions. I want to say thank you guys for all the support. We're at so far 97 viewers on this live stream. So thank you guys. Thank you for all the comments, all the engagement. I appreciate it. We love, of course, we love collaborating with you guys and answering your questions. But Justin, Bears are 10-point dogs in this game. What are we thinking?
I'll be nice. I'll go 34-6. I could say 52-6.
I'll be nice. They're only going to lose by 4 touchdowns.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. I think, and this is me, being the positive person I've been all season. I think definitely maybe, Detroit would be a little tired too. This is a short game.
Maybe they
for
missed
them.
the bus and
Thanksgiving they get a little lackadaisical.
Yeah.
But we have no shot at all. In fact, if we come on Friday and they win, oh my God, I'd be very.
What do you do? What would you do if they won? What would you do if they won? Let's jump into the multiverse where the Bears win this game on Thursday. What is Justin doing directly following the game? Because I'll tell you what I do. I'd go to the gas station. I'd buy a lottery ticket. Because clearly,
I would do the same thing. Yeah.
Because clearly something good is going on in my life, and I'm trying to make good on that. But no, I don't know. I would say, I mean, it's so hard because I don't want to say a division game is going to be a blowout because, again, division games are weird. But then again, the Lions are – it's like that meme you see where it's like immovable object versus unstoppable force. Well, this is a immovable object versus a very stoppable force, and they're just going to go right through us.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 35-17. 35-17.
Nice. You're giving them.
I am nice. I guess
at least 2 touchdowns.
If 3 touchdowns is nice, then I guess I am nice.
Yeah.
But, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
Again, enjoy time with your family.
Please do.
You don't have. You can skip football this weekend. It's not a.
We'll catch you up on how bad they were.
No, but we'll catch you up on Friday. Nobody is going to lose their fan card if you skip this game.
Yeah.
I think my 2 pieces of advice for you on Thursday would be don't talk about the Bears and don't talk about politics.
There you go.
Those would be the 2 things that will probably break any family apart. But Justin, I think if we're all good to go, then we can go and wrap it up.
No, thank you guys so much. I feel like this has been a really engaging live stream today. Thank you for all the comments, all the views, all the likes, and we'll be back on Friday to hopefully not talk and cry too bad, but we'll see. But thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a great Thanksgiving.